Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Sector 1 Sim Racing. I am your host, ASR Atom. I drive for the Red Mist Racing team tonight. We are live for the pre-season test racing, a little bit of fun for the drivers to compete in. I am joined this evening by Mr. Diego. How are you doing, mate?
Very well, sir. How about yourself?
Not too bad. We will also be joined in the commentary box for Race 2 by Mr. Brent. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're good. Good. Looking forward to a big night. It's going to be great. Plenty of laughs, plenty of action. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. So our first race takes us to Maggie West, a familiar circuit for the Sector 1 guys. Diego, have you been checking out the guys on laps and seeing what we're getting into?
Oh, mate, I even jumped in there to have a bit of crack with the boys tonight, but she's definitely going to be a lot of slip sliding action out there. These American muscle cars are absolutely looking fantastic tonight, and it's going to provide a great bit of racing as well, I reckon, my friend.
Yeah, classic circuit for Sector 1 to be at. We've had a lot of awesome racing here. I believe most of the times we come here, the commentators tend to lose their voice towards the end of the race, so we can expect to see more of the same. I hope you guys have had plenty of water this evening, because you're going to need it, that's for sure.
Definitely lubricated the larynx there, my friend.
So we'll get underway with qualifying shortly. We have a 5-minute qualifying session for our drivers this evening around the 1.5 minute circuit here in Italy. And then that will be followed by a 20-minute race for the drivers to contend with. Are there any mandatory pit stops for us to see tonight?
Well, I'm hoping we're going to see a quick pit stop. The tyres are wearing quite quickly, so I'm pretty sure the boys in the steward room have set appropriate the tyre wear tonight. So hopefully you do see a bit of action in and out of the pits.
Awesome, and fuel hopefully will be a factor as well. Although 20 minutes is generally pretty short for a Sector 1 race. We're usually used to seeing kind of 30 to 50 minute races from the previous season that we just had. So the M6s and the M4s.
The best thing about tonight, we do have boost set to maximum for these boys, so if anyone is slightly falling behind, they will soon catch up as the Knight Rider boost button kicks in. It's going to be a great bit of action we will see, I reckon, Adam. So
yeah.
I reckon we'll make sure we got all these boys in the lobby, and we might even get them off on qualifying. What do you reckon?
Yeah, not a problem, mate. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm expecting to see some close racing this evening. Especially with the boost turned on. Like I say, it's pretty normal to see close racing at Maggie West at a Sector 1 event. Of course, the greatest sim racing series in the Southern Hemisphere, as proven by Sean Ghost Miller, who unfortunately won't be making an appearance tonight, but he's famous for a great voice in the box. So we'll get ourselves underway for qualifying here at Maggie West.
So we've got a couple of different types of vehicles tonight, Adam. We've got the old 69 Corvette, so they're all running about 400 brake horsepower, so enough to step out the tail end and have a little bit of fun. Also followed, there's the GT350 Ford Mark
1, was it?
Mark 1, I think it is, yeah, spot on. We've got a couple of challenges, so the big RT challenges are going to be lots of fun. Now, VF, he's jumped in the Super B70. Now, he's the only one to make an actual a B line to this car, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. And a few Z28 Camaros as well, so we should see some different racing between all varieties of cars.
Yeah, good to see some variation in the field. Obviously, we were very much a one-make series for the previous season, now moving into multi-makes for the upcoming Season 4, which starts in a few weeks' time. So a good sign of things to come, I think, from this one, if all goes well.
Well, that's it. So the different makes is going to make for a different type of racing just compared to the one make BMWs. So they get a little bit of a feature at tonight to see how they go with the different types. And obviously we're not giving them the full race cars, but these TCM Masters are definitely spectacular.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be an absolute handful. So as we come around, the guys looking for a bit of a slipstream as they head around to start their first flying lap. So Excalibur leads the way in the Mustang Mach-1, as you were saying just before. The 1971 slides it through the final corner, so that's going to compromise them a little bit, and they might even see Cruisin' go by. as he does appear to have done. So he'll be the first to lead through the first of the flying laps. TJ in second. TJ's been setting a few of the faster laps in practice, hasn't he?
Well, don't forget TJ is the champion-elect from last season, so he's definitely one to watch tonight.
Absolutely. And Scotty G down in P3 at the moment. So he's driving the Corvette C3, and there's a couple of those on the grid tonight. He's driving an awesome Star Spangled Banner-esque livery on his vehicle for this evening.
Good old US of A. So he's definitely fallen in tonight, and he's gone all out. It's good to see.
Awesome stuff. And Ricky Bobby down there, he is driving for us this evening, the Mustang Mach 1 also. And who's he representing tonight?
He's got Tamer Cars on the side, so I reckon that'd have to be his Possession Motorsport, the guys down here in Tassie.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Barry down currently in P6. Running through just post NASCAR corner. Camaro Z28, first of the well, not first of the Chevys, first of the Camaros though. Bit of a different choice from the others on track at the moment. Nux down in P7, another C3 driver. Daz in P8, driving the Challenger RT. So that's another change from things we've been seeing as he backs it into the was it the Frippu Froppu those corners?
The Frippu. I'll go with that one, mate. I'm happy.
I needed to bring up the corner names for this one. Speedy Tyres in P8. He's probably a contender to be up towards the front, I would say. V8 in P9 at the moment, about to set his first flying lap as TJ comes across the line. 36.8, 35.9 for Ricky Bobby. So he goes straight to the top.
So TJ had a bit of traffic with Speedy Tyres in there, I do believe, at some stage. So he's lost a little bit of time, but we've flied through this 5-minute qualifying. So this might even be the last lap for these guys.
Yeah, so I was going to say
we'll see how they go.
5-minute qualifier, probably expecting to see 2 flying laps in a row, depending on the tyre wear. Will tell us if we're going to see a decent second lap from these guys.
Grassy's up to third in the Autobahn C3 there. He's done a pretty good job.
Yep, so is he the first runner of the C3s? I think he might be.
Correct, yes.
Alright, so doing it for the boys in the C3s this evening is Grassy's. TJ's probably the one to watch though, as he comes around to the final sector of the circuit. His previous lap, a 36.8. He's going to need to dip into the 35s if he wants to snatch pole from Ricky Bobby. From what I remember, these two were the fastest two guys in practice all night, were they?
Ricky Bobby and TJ, they certainly were.
Alright, so can anyone else upset the apple cart? Of course, we know V8's got pace underneath him at all times. I'm not sure what kind of sector he's on at the moment. He did set himself a 36.1 on his first lap. We'll jump on board with TJ as he goes across the line. And he goes pole with a 35.6. Ricky Bobby with a 35.4. Wow.
Big Guns to third, Nux to fourth.
Nux goes fourth. Who else is on track at the moment? Scotty G. Speedy. Where does Speedy go? Not quite up there.
So we've opened the tuning up tonight for these guys. So they've had open slather to hit a bit of tune, hit a bit of camber to sort of let these cars work towards their strengths. It'll be definitely interesting to see how they go by the end of this 20-minute feature race.
Yeah, so tuning can open up a whole can of worms for some guys. Some guys are really good at it, and some guys kind of struggle with it and just go with the original settings of the car, but it can make all the difference sometimes. But of course, as we were talking about before with boost on for this race, it's probably not going to make a massive difference as the race goes on with the tuning.
In the first few laps of not tuning the race car in practice session tonight, I wasn't keeping the car pointed in the right direction. So a little bit of tuning does help. But we are all set on the grid here. Ricky, Bobby and TJ are on the front row, V8 and Nux on the second row. So we'll see how these boys get off the line.
Yeah, Mustang leads Camaro, was it? Well, no, another Mustang. Okay, so All America sees 5 red lights, and we've got green lights, and they are away. A good start from the guys at the front. Poor start from Nux, so that's C3 struggling there a little bit, it looks like. But there's a battle for first on here. V8's going to look up the inside of Ricky Bobby at T1. TJ wants to get in on the action as well, but they allow Ricky Bobby through to take P1. They're still side by side. V8's getting pushed out by Nux there as he goes up the inside of T2. And V8's going to find himself on the outside of Scotty G here as well. So, getting very interesting for these guys. Oh, there's a bit of contact there, V8. Oh, V8's gone off. He's
in the wall.
Oh, no. I think that was an accident. There's just nothing you can do about that sometimes, but V8's...
He's got it going again.
Yeah, he's not lost too much time, but he's lost a lot of positions, and that can be absolutely crucial with these guys. And
I think
TJ...
you're saying in pre-chat that he was in an incident in practice as well, and 17 seconds off the pace, and he caught up in 4 laps. So
that's right, yeah.
With this boost on tonight, we'll definitely see him back up the front soon.
That's the power of the boost as TJ goes up the inside of Ricky Bobby at NASCAR corner. But they're all right on top of each other here as they come up the hill. TJ followed closely by now Nux, who goes up the inside of Ricky Bobby there. They're nearly 4 wide.
They're 3 wide.
3 wide there as they come over the top of the hill. But TJ's all on his line as he backs it into the final 2 corners here. Or early corners of the final sector. They're still 2 abreast down in P4. Jump on board with Ricky Bobby and have a look back at those guys, but they've settled themselves down. Speedy's dropped in behind Nux as they head round to complete lap 2.
So the boys are running sports soft tyres tonight, so that's why you're seeing the cars moving around quite a bit, which definitely makes a bit of driver skill come in tonight. It's not all about being the fastest, it's probably a bit of being smooth as well, as we see Nux, Barry up the inside of Nux, 3 wide, Speedy up the outside.
Oh, Speedy's been muscled out there. I think it's hard for Barry to see there that he's got 2 cars on the outside, so...
He's been squished.
Yeah, they're still in there, and Ricky Bobby goes up the inside of Scotty G as well, gets himself up to P2.
You sure Shies are having a bit of a look as well, so they've created a bit of a gap from the guys in front.
Yeah, there is a gap between
battling through the first 3 corners.
P4 and 3 they have separated, but they're coming back into it now. But there's a mistake there from one of the guys as they come up over the crest of the hill once again. The car just drops away from you down here as you fly down towards NASCAR. What are we going to see here?
Oh, there's bumping, there's rubbing.
Oh my goodness, yep. Good clean racing from these guys though. They're mostly staying on track, and at 3 wide at NASCAR is something that's very, very difficult to do. So they're obviously losing a bit of time through there. As you can see, the gap between Nux and Berry is actually extended by quite a lot. But I think they're doing quite well for the most part to keep it on track between these guys. Oh, speaking of on track, there's an incident there. One of the guys have gone off. Who was that? It was Excalibur. We'll grab this one on an action replay. So Jim Bob following. Shizer comes in just a little bit too hot and gets the back loose. And Excalibur does a full 360 onto the red AstroTurf on the outside. Very unfortunate, but these things happen in motorsport, of course. We jump back up with the leader, TJ, who leads the field over the timing line to start lap number 3. Nux up the inside of Berry. And Speedy tyres up the inside of Nux, but he's going to find himself on the outside as T2. He goes a little bit deep to compensate, but he's not quite going to be able to hold that, I don't think. Nux will have the inside once again.
He's not going to work around the outside here.
No, but he's going to keep it on track,
Berry's going to look up the inside again.
Oh, a little bit of contact there once again. We'll jump on board with Nux looking back at these guys. And they settle back in.
It's not great to go too wide through the flip-flop. It's not good.
Well, they'll tuck back in together now. I think Berry with the slipstream of Speedy in front of him.
Oh,
there's a moment back there too.
Jim Bob.
Not Jim
He
Bob.
hit the grass.
Oh, man.
He's into the fence. That's a big impact.
Yeah, has he got damage? Do we know?
He'd have to.
Yeah.
After that, he'd have to.
Well, it looks like his motor's running all right.
A little bit of front impact damage there, but he should catch up to Excalibur, and those guys should make their way forward.
No motor issues for him, though?
Doesn't look like it, no. No, it's just a bit of a body panel damage there.
All right, we'll have a look back at it again. He gets wide. Oh, he did it all on his own too. He just got 2 wheels on the grass and sent himself sideways and couldn't quite regain control. So an unfortunate moment for Jim Bob, but through the fault of his own. So no incident to report to the stewards for that one. TJ's now got a rear mirror full of Nux as he goes sideways onto the final straight. They're now 3 wide, but Nux has lost all his speed down that straight.
Speedy tyres gave him a nice little nudge coming into the last corner there, and that sent Nux into a nice power slide.
Oh, there's contact there between Berry and TJ as well. TJ's almost
wide.
round.
TJ's
going to hold it. Wow, what car control there from TJ. Wow, and there's more sideways action from Speedy there as well. A brilliant save by TJ. We're going to have to look back at that very shortly, but I think Speedy Tyres rather might be the one we want to watch here, because he's now got a full slipstream of TJ. He goes a bit sideways through that corner there, the right-hander. High-speed corner. Nux is going to get by him there, I think. Yep. As they come down towards NASCAR once again.
Scotty G. They're 3 wide into the old NASCAR there.
Oh, man. We said we'd get close racing. Did we really think it was going to be this good?
We tried this in the community series, and those boys didn't quite grasp it, but these guys definitely tonight having a bucket load of fun.
It's been really good so far, and these cars obviously proving to be an absolute handful as we see the guys sliding through a vast majority of the corners. And once again there, TJ's found himself on the outside of Nux here. He's going to get a bit of contact from Scotty G as well as Scotty G goes through. And TJ's relegated down to P3, a little bit sideways again. Yep, 2 Corvettes leading the way. We were talking about them possibly being the meta. Scotty goes up the inside of Nux. That's not a corner you really want to be overtaking at. There,
Nux is gone.
Sideways into them.
He's gone.
Oh, that was TJ was just a passenger there.
Everywhere.
Oh,
V8's
wow.
gone as well.
Oh, second time this race for V8. Oh, man. The bad luck continues.
Dazzler's had a moment. Oh, Nux is in. Alternate strategies coming for a fresh set of boots.
Okay, so lap 4. We've still got 13 minutes to go, so they're not quite at the halfway stage of this race as of yet.
Oh, Excalibur's around again.
So, V8's found himself in P13, so he's a long way down. But of course, we know they can catch up. Do you want to run us through the field now that we're seeing our first pit stop, and give us an idea of where everyone's at for tyres and fuel?
Yeah, of course. Scotty G's out in front. He's got a 0.8 gap to Shizer in behind. Scotty's got a little bit of tyre wear on both front tyres. He is under half a tank, so with 12 minutes remaining, I reckon we'll see Scotty in for some fuel and tyres some stage, maybe around the 10-minute mark there. A Berry in second in that beautiful orange number 31 there. So he's pretty much about the same as Scotty G out in front. So as we see Shizer thinking about the outside, Shizer is gone. He has slid it straight into the fence. So he's come back out on track. I think he's caused a little bit of action there as well. So yeah, sorry. So as we see Scotty G and Berry going for it out in front, we got Speedy Tyres. So he's made his way back up the front again. He's used a little bit more of the rear tyres, but it is good to see that everyone is under half a tank full of fuel there, Adam. So yeah, we're definitely going to see the fuel stop tonight. Cruising, he's kept a pretty low out of the way of everyone, and he's just sort of slowly making his way forward. He's probably got the nicest tyre wear of the bunch so far, as I say that, as he slides it out sideways coming in the first corner. So thanks for that, Cruising. Jim Bob's good to see him out there tonight in that wicked little green Merlin design. So that's definitely I don't know, that's almost one of my favourite liveries tonight, I'd have to say.
Bright green, you can't really go wrong there.
Yeah. He's used a lot more fuel than everyone else, so we'll just probably stop there. But
what are the fuel numbers looking like? Are they about halfway through the tank, are they?
Well, the front guys are a tad under half a tank, where some of the guys behind, so like your VF and the big old girl, they're almost down to a quarter of a tank, so they're definitely going to have to fill up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, if they thought about the strategy, they'll probably come in early, so it gives them more time to catch up as the race progresses.
Yeah, so a bit of an undercut going on from the guys at the back of the field. We're now at 10 and a half minutes left to go, so just coming up halfway. These guys are going to cross the line pretty much bang on the 10-minute mark by the look of things. So now's probably the optimum time to make a pit stop if you're looking to pit right in the middle of the race where everything's, as even as it can be. But those guys earlier will have put themselves on a bit of an undercut to try and get ahead again.
It's TJ. He's starting to make his way through. He's almost on the back of V8, so he's got a full tank and a fresh set of boots, so he's ready to go. It won't be too long before he catches up to the back of the pack.
Speaking of TJ, we're just going to have a look at a move that happened at NASCAR a couple of laps ago. This was lap 5, just a little bit sideways. Looks like he sent it on his own, and that was what took him down from about P5 all the way down to P12 earlier on in the race. So that's why we saw him out of the runnings just before he made his pit stop. So bit of a change up in the order. I wasn't quite sure about who has and hasn't pitted now. I'm suspecting that the top 3, so Berry, Shizer and Cruzen, have not yet pitted.
Correct. You'd have to make your way back to Ricky, Bobby and Nux by the looks of that. Those guys are running fresher tyres and fuel, so you'd say 4th and 5th, and then back to TJ.
Okay, so current net lead falls to Ricky Bobby, who is currently driving the Mustang Mach-1, followed closely by Nux in the Corvette. So if these guys can work together a bit, they're most likely going to take over the lead from Berry, Shizer and Cruzen.
15-second gap to the guys out in front, so I reckon these guys will definitely be the ones to watch.
We'll keep an eye on that gap as well as we come to the end of the lap, because with the boost on, it will affect the guys in the front and these two here. So the undercut might be excessively effective purely because of the fact that they're actually behind them now by quite a way.
Berry out in front there, he's loosey-goosey, so he's definitely going to be hitting the pits as well because he's right on the fuel light, so we'll definitely see that play out now. Now, Shizer's actually conserved a bit of fuel, so he might go for another lap, but we'll definitely see the leader in this lap as we do.
Well, looks like they're all
and
coming
Shizer
in,
as well, and Goose, Cruzen, sorry.
So we'll drop back onto Ricky Bobby then and go on board as we head through the pit straight.
Ooh.
Bit of an oversteer moment there. He's got Nux for company right behind him, he's not going to go for a move here, it looks like. Are they going to come out of the pits behind these two? They are. Okay, so that's an excellent undercut from these two. And they've found themselves out the front with a decent 2.5 second lead of a V8, although, having said that, we're probably going to see that gap come down a little bit.
Well, V8 hasn't pitted yet either, so he's
Hasn't he?
No, not with that... not unless he... Wait up, let me have a look at the fuel usage. He's about half as much as everyone else on fuel, so I feel like he's still not going to make it, but it does look like he has stopped for tyres.
Okay, righto. So he may have got his numbers
different
wrong.
Strategy.
Have we seen a bit of a coalition with the old Deeds fuel man, have we?
We'll have to ask Brent about that one a little bit later on tonight, I reckon.
So TJ's up the inside. Oh, it doesn't quite get clear of V8 there, so V8 retains P3. And he's going to be able to hold TJ to the outside, although TJ's going to try to stick it there.
Oh, he does.
This is close racing from these two, side by side, all the way up the hill.
It's a very uneasy corner, that one there. The weight change is absolutely horrible in one of these big old girls.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. I'd hate to be driving in this race right now. It'd be an absolute pain. Although we're seeing a side-by-side moment from the two guys up front as well, so they're going to be bleeding time through this sector of the lap as well. And V8 is all over the back of them now. So this is now, how many cars in this train? 5? 5 or 6?
5, and then you've got Scotty G following up behind there. Sorry, Grasses is way loose on the last corner. Good save, mate. Good save. But so the whole field all covered by just a tad under 9 seconds. So Berry's out in last there. So he's just finished. He's done his last stop. So we'll watch him catch up as they're all going for it too wide in the coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, we've had a big moment there. There was a big sideways moment from Excalibur going through T1. He had a bit of contact with one of the guys on the inside.
Speedy went onto the grass, so that lost his spot there.
Whereabouts is Speedy? Is he near the front? Is he? Oh, he is too.
He's up in 6
so
there.
He's fallen down to the back of this little train now. Okay. So they still retain the 7-man train up the front, but I think that pack behind is catching once again. TJ goes up the inside of Nux there. That's a long way back to come from for that, but he's made it stick. He's got it stopped on the apex. He's gone side by side. But I think
he finds himself on the outside again, though. Yeah. I thought he would have learned after the last lap.
Mirror image of the previous lap with V8, just one position back. Nux with a sideways moment there, a little bit of contact with TJ, but he holds it. and maintains the position as well. Probably a little bit of a lift off of the throttle there from TJ to allow him to regain control. But wow, they're really not pulling any punches
TJ
in this
thinks
one.
about
He's
it.
going for it again.
Slides it up the inside.
Yeah, he's done his quick little redress and he can go for it once again. He's not wasting any time as TJ. He wants that win.
Didn't really leave him room. No, he wanted it.
Yeah.
He did leave him the racing room, but that was about
Only
it.
just. I think Nux had 2 wheels on the grass, which technically in this game doesn't count as a track cut, but you know, pushing the rules to their limits there from TJ. So he's now on the back of V8.
VF in 14th is now 4 seconds behind, so he's last. So this train is 14 cars long now.
Wow, so they're all together again. That's fantastic. You couldn't ask for a better race, could you?
You couldn't. Actually, Shizer's the man with the good tyre wear tonight as well, so watch out for him. He's conserving nicely.
And he finds himself right in the middle, so he could go up or down from here. Be a very interesting one. Oh, yeah.
Ricky Bobby, the big slide out there onto the back straight.
He's got to defend from 2 people as well. Look at this, TJ and Nux going up the inside. They're going to be just about 4 wide.
Oh.
Nux on the inside, so he's going to have the advantage going through this corner. Scotty G's going to go for it.
G thinks about it.
Wow, look, someone's out wide at the back there as well, and someone's gone round 2. Wow, a lot of drama through that corner. The upshot is Scotty G finds himself out the front, followed closely by Nux, TJ and Ricky Bobby, and I see V8 back there with a bit of a moment too. The usual
that would have
suspects.
been reminiscent of the last time V8 was here at Maggie. I think he had a bit of an incident in that same coming out of NASCAR, but they're banging panels. They're not giving any love to anyone. They're just having a bucket load of fun out there tonight.
There's almost no time to go back to a replay because there's too much happening on track at any given time. So Scotty G leads the field as they come around. He's a bit wide at the final corner. Is he going to pick up some grass? No. But Nux is now all over his rear bumper, and TJ is going to have the best spot coming down this straight here.
As they come too wide into the first corner, TJ's just going to slid on the inside there and see what happens between these two.
Yeah, he's going to find himself on the outside again.
Finds his way in front there. Nice little move. There's TJ's been hit from behind.
We've seen a lot of good overtakes from Nux tonight, I think. He's been looking very racy amongst the pack here. Oh no, that's a big moment for Nux. He's gone wide. That's going to see him shuffled all the way down to the end. Back of the field. Scotty G finds himself in P1 once again.
Commentator's curse. Sorry about that, Nux.
Alright, so looking at the field there, 3 wide just about. V8, what's V8 doing? V8's had a bit of a problem.
He has. He's slowing down for Nux because he took him out, I'd say.
No, he didn't. He didn't touch Nux. Nux spun all on his own. So we'll have a quick look and see if there's anything on a replay. I can't seem to use a replay.
Maybe he's having a little bit of engine trouble there. As back up to the front, TJ's hit the front. He's got Scotty G all over the back of him. Shizer, there we go, the man of the hour. Shizer with his good tyre usage has made his way up to second as we see who's that in the background. Someone's gone. Speedy tyres. Yeah. He had no chance of hitting the apex on that one, so definitely boulder wide.
So he finds
Scotty
him
G and Shizer.
7. Shizer is looking around the outside. Well, Ricky Bobby up the inside rather, but he finds himself on the outside for T2. Similar moves back and forth. I've just noticed that Scotty G and Shizer have matching liveries.
They do. It looks like the CP boys have come out in force tonight with the American pride. And
big moment for Excalibur back there, I think.
Wait to see what they bring out in the F1500s tonight.
I've lost Excalibur. Where did he end up there? Wow, he's fallen a long way back. My replay button appears to have broken, which is a real pain. I can't pick up a replay. So, back to the front. What are we looking at here? We've got Scotty G all over the rear bumper of TJ once again. So TJ's found himself at the front yet again. Scotty G looks for a move up the inside. Ricky Bobby's going to try around the outside of him, but he's going to find himself into the side of TJ.
Wide. Three wide.
That's a dangerous place to be going side by side. Scotty G and Shizer find themselves at the front. The two matching cars leading the way side by side. That looks really good.
Oh, I think everyone backed it in then, didn't they?
Oh, wow, there's so much going on here. Ricky Bobby's going to take the win. TJ's going to come back with a second. We're going to see Speedy Tyres to the line for third. Fourth, fifth, and sixth could not be decided. But the game couldn't figure it out. Wow. That could not have been closer.
Is that last lap? That much action the last lap snuck up on us there, Adam.
Yeah, it's too much to keep on top of. They can't do this again. There's too much. You want close racing, but this is just too much. Can't keep up with it.
Oh, no. He's on for the boys to go out and have a little bit of fun tonight, so hopefully they did that, and hopefully we provided a little bit of action for the 31 viewers tonight. It's good to see all the guys back in chat again. Unfortunately to see Womble out there. He's having a few problems with his new rig, but we'll hopefully see him out on the track pretty soon.
Yeah, just got to be ready in time for the main season when it comes about in a couple of weeks' time. And he could potentially test himself out when next week's pre-season test comes around as well. So that should be exciting too. But that's race one done. So one down and one to go. So next up we go to Monza, and we're going to check out I think it's a 40-minute race with Formula cars, old school Formula cars, 80s stuff.
Correct. Yes, I haven't run one lap yet, so the first lap will be in about 3 minutes' time.
So you're joining us on the grid, are you?
I am hoping to join you on the grid, so I'll go and jump in Womble's car now, and yeah, we'll see how we go.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for having me along tonight, Adam. That was good. Our first time in the comms box, so hopefully get to have a few more with you guys through the new season.
Thanks, man. It was really good having you alongside me, mate. You did a stellar job. So, going into the next one, we are joined by Mr. Brent. Mr. Brent, are you there?
10-4, I am here. Let's, oh, jeez. Well, where do I start with that last race? That was just absolutely fantastic to watch. A lot of old school American muscle cars getting around like that, going sideways. There's a lot of broken panels, but wow, that was great entertainment. That was all the way to the final lap.
Yeah, it was fantastic stuff.
That was beautiful. You
couldn't look away from it. They say you can't look away from so many races, but that absolutely defined it, you know. And the other phrase is, you can't put a book down. That was the absolute epitome of that one. Not even enough time to take a replay. Not that I could, because the replay button decided to break mid-race, but hopefully I can get that sorted for this one.
Maggi always seems to bring out the best in S1 as well. Fantastic track. We will be racing there next season in some way, shape or form. What it always does though is it just creates drama. It's just a track that's fast flowing, but has the corners necessary to really make magic happen. And you just saw in that race then with the TCMs, that was just what we got. It was just absolutely beautiful fun to watch, and I bet the boys behind the wheel had a few laughs, just enjoyed it, and we'll probably sit back now, enjoy a couple of pints of the hospitality suite, and watch the 1500s get into it, the old 80s Formula 1 cars.
What sort of lap times have we been seeing from the guys around the practice session?
Well, originally we were seeing about 31s, 32s, thinking, yeah, that might be the go, but some drivers have now dipped into the 29s. A little bit less aero wash on these cars than the current Formula 1 cars, along with a little bit less weight because of all the mechanical whatchamacallits that are in these cars compared to the hybrid technology you see in today's Formula 1 cars. So these cars are significantly lighter with the same amount of power. It's been a bit of a learning lesson for these guys coming to get to grips with these, and I took it out for a couple of laps earlier. It's bloody tricky to drive. It's great fun.
Yeah, it looks like an absolute handful. So no tuning on these cars for this race, and we're not seeing boost for this race either, are we?
No, we do have a little bit of a slipstream. They've got a little bit of a go juice in the fuel tanks this time around, so they will gain a little bit following each other. Also gives a bit of a helping hand to the guys that just towards the back of the grid, just to help them catch up a little bit. We're going to see some very, very exciting racing, especially in cars that are going to take a lot of skill and a very small margin of error in these cars as well.
Yeah, it takes a lot to handle these cars around a track like this where every little error makes a massive difference. I'm just having a technical problem with the keyboard, so I'm going to see if closing the game down and rebooting it sorts that out. So give me just a moment here. Do we know what year these particular Formula cars are from?
At this stage, I'm just double checking which my car is from, and unfortunately it doesn't have a year on it. I'd say it's about 1986 when the cars were at their absolute peak in power. We've kept the turbos down just to make sure that they don't burn the rears out in 300 meters, but these cars are just, yeah, they're just so tough to drive, but they're so rewarding, they're so exhilarating, and it's all about that mechanical grip and making sure that you can really maximize every single inch of this track, especially at a track as renowned as Monza, especially through the Rettifilio. We've had massive moments at the Rettifilio, Ascari. We've had epic battles as well in the past here. We saw a few seasons ago in the AGTs, the Group 3s, we had a big crash in the Group B event, and then in the M3s a couple of seasons ago, D-Flow and I had an enormous battle for the ages, and unfortunately I lost that one. D-Flow got up. But it was, yeah, this track always produces fantastic
Yeah,
racing.
I think I remember that one. It was quite a few laps towards the end of the race, and you guys were basically going at it hammer and tong for the entire last quarter of the race.
Yeah, and Cruisin, aka Goose, he caught up very quickly to us, and it was just a magical battle. 3-way on the final lap, and I cooked it, as per usual with me being a Deeds driver. I make a mistake somewhere, whether it be fuel or crashing, but yeah, D-Flow drove a magical race. He will be in one of the chill-out cars tonight for Racing Cars Like Legends. We've got a very good field as well, so there's drivers from both the Championship and the Trophy mixed in this one. Fair few drivers wanting to mix it up, and it's going to be great to see who comes where and how these guys approach such a unique challenge, because we've got two different series to sort of work with, but they're all in the same cars for the upcoming season. But in this one, there's a big amount of skill gap, and they're all mixing together, just seeing, and they've been working together to get maximum time out of these cars as well. It's been great fun to watch and enjoy as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, a couple of big names from the main series in here tonight. I see V8 Scooter, V8 who actually participated in the muscle car race as well, so he's doubling up this evening. Having a proper go, and we're also of course seeing our race director from Race 1, Diego, competing in this one as well. How far away are we from getting qualifying underway?
We're just getting the mechanicals all sorted. Unfortunately, all this is from the 1980s, and we are about to begin. I've just got the hang of this analog thingy. Unfortunately, that's not modern technology here for this race tonight. Let's get going though. Got it all going.
Nothing better than the classics.
I'm looking very, very forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just seen Morgan Davey left the room. Was he supposed to be competing, or is he just backing out early doors?
He has backed out. I'm trying to find out why. He is meant to be racing tonight in one of the Deeds liveries. He will have to start this race from the back of the grid.
Alright, yeah. So we'll have to do a little bit of a reshuffle of the pack as we come back into it. So as we head out on track to start the qualifying, 10-minute qualifying session for these guys, so they get double the time that our muscle car drivers did. So there are a couple of changes to be made to this race as opposed to the last one, so enough time for, I would say, they'll do an out lap, a flying lap, an in lap, and then another run of exactly the same. So leading us away in the Auto 1 car, we have V8 XW Falcon, aka Big Guns.
Keep an eye on him tonight. He's been very, very quick from the get-go. One of the fastest guys in the field. He really showed his speed towards the end of last season as well. Picked up a couple of really good wins and was very, very quick at Dragon Trail and at St. Croix as well when we were in front. He's also jumped into this car tonight and has just looked absolutely impeccable from the get-go.
Good stuff from him once again. Scotty G as well, another one from the muscle car race, making a second appearance here. And he's running a very similar livery to what he was rocking in the muscle car race as well. The Stars and Stripes in the Bez Media car.
Fantastic looking livery that. Land of the Free, home of the brave.
Shaneski rocking the Deeds livery, so he's one of your own this evening.
Yes, he is.
Coming around to start his first flyer.
He originally started with us as well back when we were known as Switchblade. He was competing in the M3s as well before the move to Ragged Edge. He's jumped in behind his own created livery based on the McLaren-esque Aura, and it looks fantastic. Congratulations to Deeds on the new tap room, by the way.
Good stuff. Is he so he's a long-serving member. Is he back at Deeds for the upcoming season?
No, he's still working behind the scenes, just getting being a new livery lord and just helping out with the general decals, and yeah, one of the real cogs behind the scenes of Sector 1.
Awesome stuff. So DJ Brain also out on his first flying lap. What livery is that on his particular car as they come through the second chicane?
Looks like one of the old McLaren liveries based on the MP44, just with a bit of a green tinge with the new sponsorship for CJ Esports for the upcoming season. Reminds me of a 1980s Brawn, weirdly.
Yeah, it looks very fitting for the car though. I do like the lines and stuff that they've gone with on that one. Almost reminiscent of the Marlboro liveries in the red and white. We jump down to Speedy Tyres, who's made a mistake at Ascari, just about getting out of the way of the guys there as he peels off onto the dirt. Drops behind, lets those guys go.
Yeah, it's based on a 1980s Ferrari with a bit of next level sponsorship, the current CP major sponsor for Corner Punch.
Yes.
We can't tell the difference most of the time with the names, guys, so yeah. Thank you, Lucas, for introducing us to Corner Punch.
Very good. So there's a couple of guys working together here. Scooter and Old Wakey looking to tow each other down the straight, which is probably the best thing to be doing here around Monza.
Quick time early on, a 29.2.
Yeah, so he was sitting right in behind. So that's Scooter, who's gone straight to the top here. Scooter in the Bacchus looks just like a Lotus. That is fantastic. Scooter driving the Bacchus car was right behind Old Wakey for his entire lap. So at Monza, the slipstream can mean everything, and of course with the slipstream setting on what it is, they can give themselves a lot of space between themselves and the guy in front. So he's taken advantage of that, made an awesome play there, get himself down to a 29.2. Great work from Scooter, although unsurprising to see him near the front.
Scotty just peeled to the side there out of the second Lesmo.
Yep. Good thing about these cars as well
tricky
is you can actually see the dirt on the tyres when they come back on track after an off-track excursion. So that's quite a cool feature to have.
Yeah, and it's not just for show either. It does affect the way the tyres grip, especially for the next kilometre or so. You want to make sure you've got clean tyres going around here, and it's very easy at these high speeds with such minimal downforce to lose it and go off the track, and then yeah, you're going to get caught out with very dirty tyres.
So we'll move on down to Diego, who we nearly got to in our little grid walk before. So he's driving the Green Beacon car around tonight. Looks like a fantastic Golf replica livery. I believe he was talking about that a little bit earlier. I think that was Womble's livery. So he's unfortunately missed out on tonight's race due to technical issues. But Diego stepped in and doing the livery proud, that's for sure.
He looks good in a Red Mist livery. Very, very... very open with how his practice has been for this race tonight. Hasn't done a lap.
Yeah, so he's
good though.
Been dropped straight in the deep end for this one, but he's not right at the bottom, so he's doing all right so far. D-Flow currently sitting P11, so he's just on an out lap at the moment. So he's just been through the pits. So he's driving the chill out car. That looks good as well. That almost looks like the if it wasn't with the all the sponsors on the side, it's got so much water, and it just looks like James Hunt's car from the early days when he wasn't sponsored, which was probably one of the best looking cars out there, to be fair.
Reminds me weirdly of the early 1980s Williams liveries as well, because they were very similar. The one that Alan Jones was driving, and Nelson Piquet as well. D-Flow hasn't raced here at Monza since hasn't raced here since the Ferrari and struggled a little bit then. And this is a little bit of a bogey track for him. He has admitted that.
Alright, so we'll jump on board with V8 as he comes around to finish another flyer. What's his time going to be? It's a 30.8, so he goes slower. But he's probably going to go around again and have another crack at it. Who else have we got coming to the line?
More time in that
couple of guys going into the pits. Scooter, crucially, our provisional pole sitter rather, in for a fresh set of boots. So he's got 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes left. And he's going to head round for an outlap, and he's going to have time for, I'd say, just one more flying lap, unless he gets his outlap done in less than a minute and a half, because that could leave him with about 10 seconds left to go.
Just keeping an eye on Black Project here at P7 at this stage in the absolutely stunning McLaren livery. This was the first livery that McLaren made way back in the 60s. Epic job done by our own good doctor here. And he's also been hovering around that top 5 as well in regards to times.
Yeah, so practice times, you mean he's been up there, has he?
Yeah, he has. He's been quick. This car really seems to suit his driving style.
Oh, he's half a second up on his best time too.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think you're right there. He must have had a bit of an issue on his first lap at the first chicane. Possibly he was trying to get a slipstream, ran into a little bit of dirty air and made a mistake on his first lap. But he's looking good coming around on his second flyer, half a second up on his best time. That would still put him 2 seconds off the top time though. So he's going to want to pull a little bit more time in the next couple of sectors.
Just keeping an eye on a couple of guys at the moment. DJ's been quick all day. He's just coming through the Parabolica now. He'll definitely be right up there as one of the top 2 or 3.
He's about to set a time too. This is a 29. Oh, he's 29.6. That's a fantastic time, but not enough.
His first flyer was a 29.557, and he's about to have V8 pull in front of him.
Here's 2. Here comes Black Project. He's gone 1.5 seconds quicker than his best. That's a much better time.
P4.
Yep, P4. Good stuff. V8.
Oh, Speedy.
Oh, Speedy goes up to P4.
Speedy goes to P4.
Okay.
130.052.
That's a great lap from
Beautiful
Speedy.
lap.
Not quite dipping into the 29s. I think, what are we looking at for the gaps up the front here? We've got about 3 tenths between each driver. 2 tenths between Old Wakey and Speedy. So there's a decent gap between each car here as far as times are concerned. But I think there's definitely an opportunity for a couple of guys to improve again and get themselves up there. V8 down in P6.
Speedy's going quicker.
Speedy's up on his time.
Purple at the first sector.
Oh wow, that's
yep,
good.
First sector,
He's
purple.
got a slipstream of Scotty G in front of him as well. So this could be very handy as he comes down the back straight post Ascari.
Are we seeing CP just come in and show early season dominance? They got the Corvette for Season 4, one of the primary picks of the upcoming season. A lot of teams had their eye on that car.
It's still purple.
CP, one of the big... Oh, just up.
It's only just,
Looks
but that's
fantastic
enough.
through Ascari.
Yep, that's a good run. He's got no slipstream down here though, and I have a feeling Scooter may have had one. So we'll see what happens as he comes out the Parabolica here. Hard on the brakes on the way in. Tucks it tight to the inside. When does he punch it? Now.
Oh, Wakey up to P2.
Oh wow, how's he done that? Great time, 29.423.
Oh,
That's not far off the leader, is it? Oh wow, 29.3 for Speedy Tyres. That's a great time. 0.055 off Scooter in P1, but he makes provisional front row, and he's still got time for one more lap.
You're right about that slipstream on the final sector as well. That made all the difference. Scooter still ahead with that first flyer, 29.2. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a great lap. I think he positioned his car perfectly. It looks like the guys who are crossing the line now are done for this session. Got to run through quickly. Someone's just crossed the line, but they did not go faster. D-Flow's got himself a penalty, so his lap is done. Scooter doesn't need to improve necessarily. Wakey is on a lap, but he's 3 tenths down on his best time. Speedy's got himself a penalty this lap, so he's not going to be able to improve. Most likely will not be able to improve. DJ Brain is coming around the Parabolica for the final time. He's got the toe of V8 in front of him. This could be interesting.
He's had the toe for quite a while.
Oh, goes half a second down, so not quite enough. V8 does go faster though and gets himself up to P5. That'll be helpful for the start.
DJ had quite a bit of a slipstream too. Coming out of the second Lesmo, just smack bang behind V8, just held that line. Just made a lot of time in that final sector.
Oh, Scotty G gets himself up to P4. That's a good lap. 29.479.
D-Flow P7.
There's not much to split the top few.
No. Well, D-Flow just then had the fastest final sector of anybody as well to get up that far. P7. Great lap.
Good stuff. Yeah, Monza seems to be one of his tracks, eh?
Half a second between first and seventh, so very, very tight up that front end. It's going to be a great race to watch. That was a good qualifying session.
It was, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the guys deal with the dirty air in the early stages of the race, of course, and the load of fuel as well. Although, of course, they will have had plenty of practice in that, I would say. Big gap from 7th to 8th, taking them all the way to a second back from Scooter. So we're going to have a bit of a grid reshuffle as Morgan Davey has re-entered. We also had a little bit of a technical problem there from Jimmy Superfly, potentially. He found himself in the fence at T3 and never really moved.
No, it seems like that he's just getting on top of some electrical gremlins. These cars are a little bit less reliable than their modern counterparts. I'll just let these boys know we do have a red flag.
Okay. So yeah, this red flag just to let back in Morgan Davey, who will find himself starting at the back of the grid just because he's missed qualifying. And then we'll get going for the race once again.
He loves those last place starts though in the pre-season. Last pre-season we had at Tsukuba with the E30s. He started 14th and won by about 20 seconds.
Wow. What was he driving there, sorry?
E30 M3 when we had the 80s retro race.
Endurance races, wasn't it?
It was quite a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a 1 hour enduro. We had a reverse grid race for the second race, and it was great fun.
Oh, if there's one place to do it, eh? The enduro race. Good stuff.
Tsukuba.
Yeah. Small track for an enduro race.
What do we think, chat? Good qualifying session, that one.
Not too bad. It did come down to the end, but Scooter's first lap was enough to net him pole position. Great lap. He held it by 0.055 of a second in the end, but even he couldn't improve on it as the session went on. And of course, we know with these qualifying sessions, with the fuel on, the guys do run their fuel down as the session goes on, and the car becomes lighter, of course. So generally, we see the fastest laps coming in right at the end, but seeing an early lap from Scooter there, and nobody could really touch it after that.
Just keeping an eye on the chat at the moment. Womble reckons the Corvette will get monstered this season.
Corvette will get monstered. Well, in general,
Porsche will be
I think the Porsche is probably one of the better cars out of the lot. I think a lot of people were saying the top three were kind of the Porsche, the Corvette, and the BMW was argued to be in there as well. The Corvette's got awesome race pace and some of the best straight line speed out of all the cars on the grid, but it's a little bit lacking in the tyre wear and the fuel department, which might come back to bite the guys. You can probably expect to see it qualifying up the front of the field a lot of the time, but not necessarily having the pace to back it up for 40 minutes. But there's a lot of fast guys driving that car this season, and they're definitely going to be able to pull the best out of it, so it'll certainly bear watching, I think.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said about the fuel issues. Yeah, at Deeds, we're not known for our fuel usage.
We were talking about someone with that issue the first race, I think. V8, he had a bit of a short fuel moment.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how a driver like V8 goes. He's brimming with confidence at the moment. He's, like I said earlier, he had a fantastic season 3. Had a low point at Maggiore, but bounced back really well in the second half of the season. Was just wicked fast from the get-go.
Yeah, he did.
Looking forward to him tonight.
He seems to not really have luck on his side a lot of the time. V8 definitely one of the faster guys on the Sector 1 grid, but often finds himself on the wrong end of the stick in certain situations. He had a good race at Suzuka round 1 last season. I had the pleasure of being in the same race as him, although it was only a few laps in where he made contact with another driver. Nothing deliberate, nothing malicious, but he just wasn't in the right place at the right time, and he ended up in the dirt and couldn't quite fight back from where he was. So he lost out on a good deal of points there, and didn't unfortunately get the promotion up to Group A that he needed. And it wasn't until later in the season that he did finally get that, I think.
Okie dokie, time to change this grid order. With this new device here, I don't know what it's called. It's called an IBM, so I'm just working with this and getting it up to speed. It's got apparently 8 megabyte hard drive. Great, 1986.
Oh yeah.
Get this all sorted.
Old school stuff.
So, welcome to the chat, guys. So we got Moff, we got Pruski, Hijacker. How you going, buddy? Good to see some familiar faces in there and some new faces as well.
Speaking of new faces, if there's any new faces in the chat, any new names, do say hello. We're a welcoming bunch, and make sure you do drop a sub if you are enjoying the content, and most certainly a like as well, because of course it helps push the channel and get us out to more eyes, which is always a good thing for content as good as this.
And don't forget, if you want to join our Discord, more than welcome. Just make sure to, click our description. You'll find our Discord on the channel thread thingy, Bobby.
Amongst all the other details.
I can't figure out how YouTube's not loading for me on this IBM, so I do apologise, guys.
You gotta practice the whole spiel about subscribing and liking and all that sort of thing. You know, they all say the same thing, the YouTubers, so they got it nailed down. So I think we need to get there as well.
So, setting the grid at the moment. So Scooter on pole, Speedy in second, Old Wakey in P3. That is a tasty top 3 right there, but you can't rule out the likes of V8 and Scotty, DJ Brain. Very, very good field this one.
Unfortunate to see Morgan and Jimmy down the back of the field, because I'm sure they would have been more than keen to tussle it out up the front. But like you say, of course, Morgan probably liking the race from the back sort of idea. Have we seen more movement from Jimmy this time around?
Just figuring out the what is this contraption here? There we go. So the grid is all sorted and ready to go.
Good stuff.
And judging from what I am seeing out in the track at the moment, seems like Jimmy Superfly is up and about. They've got the turbos working on that beautiful looking Death Grip Racing 86 model thingy Bobby, what's it call it. So let's get started, I reckon.
Alright, good to go. 40 minutes of fantastic racing action at Monza, ready for the viewers. We'll start the countdown.
There's the big red button.
It's the big red button. No, don't press the big red button, that's how you exit.
Yeah.
Alright.
Sorry guys, it's a good fun night tonight.
Yeah, a little bit more casual than the main series. If you are new, we race most Sundays, with the Season 4 starting in just a couple of weeks' time. This is, of course, pre-season test races. Just a bit of fun, different settings, different cars, and a good bit of friendly competition between drivers old and new. I believe it was open entry into this one, wasn't it?
Still holding.
New revs go up and down. Here we go. Red lights are on. And the guys are away. A poor start from Old Wakey there. Terrible reaction time. He's not going to be stoked with that. We've had a moment there from DJ Brain, who's actually pushed him off the track. As we come down to T1, big heavy braking zone, very dangerous area. We go 3 wide. Speedy trying to go around the outside of Scooter and V8. He's not going to find much out there, but he's going to have to cut the corner to stay in the running. And he's had a little bit of a bump there from DJ Brown, but they all settle down and nothing too crazy going on. Where we are, of course, used to seeing Shadow Realm entries at T1 at Monza more than too often. But everyone gets through relatively unscathed. The only person to go off the track was Speedy, but he didn't lose too much out of it. And the field is led now by Scooter 82. So the pole sitter retains his position, so he's had a good run through the first couple of corners. as they go through. There's
Great.
no 1 and there's no 2.
Great start by V8, who's now in P2. Starting P5, I believe it was. And also a big start on Morgan Watch. He's now up to P10.
P10, so he's making his ascension through the field, is he?
Yep. Just the way we like it at Deeds Racing.
Of course, he's looking up the inside of Jimmy Superfly there as well, but he backs out. It's very hard to go side by side through Ascari. Have a look again at the front, guys. V8 is all over the back of Scooter. Is he going to go for a move? No.
And the two guys from Corner Punch, Scotty and Speedy, having a little bit of a tussle as well. This is going to be a great little battle.
So they're all still more or
V8
less
past,
within range. Oh, he is. He's got the overspeed. He's got more toe than a Roman sandal. Here we go down the inside of Scooter 82, down the main straight. This is why we call it the Temple of Speed. Hard on the anchors as they come into the first chicane. V8's going to hold it, and he's got the position. Very nicely done there from the Auto 1 driver.
Great move.
Do we see a position change there for
Great
P3?
move, and also... No, we haven't. Scotty's still holding on. Shaneski also just holding off Jimmy Superfly in P6.
We got, so it looks like we're in kind of groups of 2 at the moment, very much separated to double ups, and we've got a side by side moment there for Jimmy and Shaneski. Shaneski straight into the barrier. Oh, that's pushed into the way of someone else as well. Debrev's off as well. It's all going off at the second chicane at the moment. Those barriers, once they do get in the way of the car, they slow it down quite a lot.
Poor Diego's had a rough start early on as well. He's back in 13th place, and he's just had a little bit of a spin coming out of the second chicane there. I haven't got a dictionary or Wikipedia at the moment to look at the corner main.
Yeah, I forget what the chicanes are called. They've got very flamboyant names, of course. So, crucially though, Scooter actually got by V8 again. So he's now leading as they come around to start their third lap as they go through the Parabolica. But they're all one on top of the other at the moment, very much so. Looking back from the car of Scooter, Beers by Bacchus driving for the usual team. He's going to get mugged here though. He's got 2 cars going side by side with him. They're going to be 3 wide into the first chicane. Scotty's going to go the inside.
Well last time, boys.
Yep.
Oh.
Scooter's going to hold it.
Oh.
A little bit of a track cut.
And DJ's joined the battle.
5 guys involved in that one there now. But Scooter manages to hold on to that P1. He's doing everything he can, and those guys behind him are absolutely throwing the kitchen sink at him.
Speedy up the outside of Rogier. Is he going to make it? No. V8 holds him off. And DJ's in this now. DJ's hungry. Oh.
So DJ's sitting
What
in
a battle.
P5. So they've pulled a bit of daylight to Jimmy in P6. Although having said that, you did say that the slipstream was set to weak for this race, didn't you?
Yes. So they've got a 2.2 seconds, I believe, of extra stream. Just a little bit of aero wash in the modern cars doesn't work. But where these older cars have, they can just pile straight behind and use that extra horsepower that these cars have at the turbos to really catch up under a slipstream. Yeah, so technically, if we look at it that way, looking at the time gaps between the cars and the deltas, we're actually seeing a train of about 10 cars here, all the way down to Old Wakey. No, even further, Shaneski. So still in touch with the leaders, if you look at it from a delta point of view. So we come back onto the main straight. Scotty G's had a moment. That's huge. He's gone into the wall. What's happened there? We'll get ourselves an action replay of that one. We come around the Parabolica. Catch a little bit of oversteer maybe. He just went straight on. Caught the AstroTurf and absolutely lost it. Very unusual. Crashed that one.
Yeah, uncharacteristic mistake from Scotty G there. Not something we're used to seeing.
Old Wakey. Old Wakey and Black Project just having a ring-a-ding-ding battle here for P8. It's on for sheep stations down here.
Alright, we'll jump on board with Old Wakey. He's sitting behind Black Project, who's now behind the car of Scotty G, who has dropped down from the lead pack. So perhaps given the fact that he was up the front, that suggests that he does have better pace than these two guys. He can pull them back up to that pack in front of them, because there is starting to become a little bit of a gap now between them. It's becoming a bit more pronounced, and of course 2.2 seconds is one thing, but it's going to be pretty hard to surmount a gap of the distance that it is right now.
And tell you who's the quiet achiever this race so far? D-Flow, P6. Hovering behind Morgan, who's just, I don't know what he's doing. But, yeah, D-Flow's just being the quiet little assassin that he is, just honing his craft, working hard, in scathe mode, sitting behind
Morgan's
Morgan.
one of the guys you want to be behind in this sort of situation, isn't it? Because he's gone from all the way in dead last to P5, so he's doing something right. So I'd say D-Flow's in a good spot here, and I can actually hear from the engine tones, he's doing a bit of fuel saving behind Morgan as well, so that could come back and be very helpful later on in the race as they head through the first chicane.
Yeah, and I tell you what, D-Flow's got fantastic tyres right now. Really conserving that car, and he's doing a great job keeping behind Morgan, holding that slipstream, which is vital to catch up to the front pack. Morgan will push on, but D-Flow, don't rule him out at this stage. He's right in this battle.
Speaking of the front pack...
Oh, as Morgan runs wide through Rogier. Oh.
Speaking of front pack, jump back on board with V8, who's leading the way at the moment. Followed closely by Scooter, who has lost out that P1. Oh, big moment from V8 there, but he's not quite going to lose out, is he? Oh, it looks like he is. And he's going to let Scooter through as well, I think. They're going to be side by side as they come up towards Ascari. Scooter's got a great opportunity here to take the lead, and he does. Speedy Tyres still in touch. DJ Brain's still in touch. But they've got to be careful that they don't lose too much time here because they've got a hungry Morgan Davey chasing them down from P5.
Yeah, the guy that's really suffering in regards to tyre and fuel usage in this battle pack here is Scooter. He's just used a bit more of everything else compared to the other guys. Speedy and DJ, just in regards to, especially Speedy and fuel, is looking very, very comfortable right now.
Okay, well, Scooter has been pushing very hard in the early stages of this race, trying to keep that P1, and I think he may have compromised his tyre and fuel life because of that. He goes very firm on the brakes into T1. I think V8 might know that his tyres are looking a bit poor, and he stuck his nose out there, but he backed out of it very early and caused Scooter to actually go as late as he could on the brakes because he would have thought that V8 was coming through. So V8 with a little bit of tyre conservation into T1 and Scooter with full beans into the braking zone. So an interesting tactic there. Speedy Tyres cutting the second chicane, he gets reset. No! He's lost out of that battle pack and Morgan Davey takes advantage. So Speedy with a bit of a lock up into that chicane and goes a little bit deep. Finds himself losing out.
Oh, Old Wakey! Old Wakey just goes around of D-Flow on the outside of the first Lesmo. What a move!
Wow, and he's found himself now in P6 and behind Speedy Tyres as well.
This battle pack's really starting to close up here between 5th to Shansky and P10.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars in this little train.
Really closing up.
Wakey's going to have to hold it around the outside of Speedy Tyres there. Speedy's going to cut the corner a little bit too much to get himself on the sausages there. Possibly get the car a little bit unstable, but he holds the position. They are absolutely nose to tail at the moment.
It's like a conga line in Hawaii, this one.
There's not much that can be done to defend from this. Speedy's going to look for it, but he's not going to go too hard. Old Wakey's a little bit deep on the brakes, but he's going to hold it. The Parabolica, he can take multiple lines through that corner. It's a very, very tricky one, but he holds it.
Got a feeling Old Wakey's about to be shaken baked by the two corner punch boys.
Yep. Scotty G's coming straight through. He's not taking any prisoners this time around. Black Project on the grass!
Oh, Black
Project's going to go deep. He's going to touch on Wakey, but he's not quite going to lose it. Amazing to keep that under control.
Wow. That was a real... that was a scary moment for Black Project, that one. Great car control. It was so close to hitting the rear of Old Wakey as well just then. Very close. Great car control just to pull that up and make sure he didn't clean anyone up.
Good movement from around the outside as well. There was someone there, I think it was Black Project, managed to give him the room on the inside as well. My replay button's broken again. I wanted to catch that again, but unfortunately we've lost it again.
Keeping an eye on DJ at the moment. He's smack bang right behind V8. Less than 3/10 between the two. They haven't let Scooter go either yet.
And the gap to
working that car
Morgan.
very hard.
Morgan's still got a sniff of a draft, but he's not quite pulling the time on them that he'd probably hope. He is all on his own now. Oh, look, there was a moment back there as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get a replay of it, but big moment for Wakey and D-Float as they come out of Ascari there, and they're still going hammer and tong as they come into the curve of Parabolica.
Oh! Scotty ended up hitting the wall on the outside of Ascari and basically just pile drive the inside. That's what all the kerfuffle was about on the exit there with D-Flow and Speedy as well. Just got caught out a little bit as Speedy goes up the inside. Can he get it up done in the red affilio? No. No. D-Flow holds it.
So still a solid battle pack here, but we're seeing a lot of movement from...
Oh, V8's up the inside of Scooter. Going to Roger. Oh, no, Scooter holds him off. And Morgan's actually gone into P3 now.
Yeah, I saw that.
DJ's had a moment.
That was he's caught them up a lot there on that main straight. He was 1.5 seconds behind as they were coming up to the Parabolica, but he's right in this fight now. And V8 and Scooter are going to have their hands full very, very shortly, I think. A lot of lead chopping and changing as well. Scooter's back in the lead once again. V8 and himself clearly not in the interest of working together at any point during this race. Just wanting that lead for as long as they can have it, really. And, you know, that's the way racing drivers operate.
Oh,
V8 with a spin!
gone!
No! He's put a rear wheel on the AstroTurf there and absolutely lost it.
Oh, hopefully he hasn't got the stream on, but he's got to let the whole field go by.
Wow.
Oh, no.
So it's now down to 2 out the front. DJ Brain's still in touch, but I don't know if he can do much down this straight. He's losing time every corner to these guys. They're absolutely pushing these cars to the limit.
Scooter's worked this car hard, but Morgan has actually worked this car a lot harder. Tyres on Morgan's car are very, very second-hand on the rear, whereas Scooter's are quite a bit better. But Scooter has used quite a lot more fuel.
So a big effort from Morgan there trying to get himself through the field. It's obviously going to take a lot of tyre to go hard on the brakes multiple times against the drivers in this field.
Keeping an eye on D-Flow still at the moment. He is brilliantly placed in regards to tyres.
He's got himself up to 4th as well. He was P6 earlier when we were watching him.
Ooh, beautiful work through Roger. Oh, he's got a little bit of a train forming up.
Yep, he's definitely someone you want to have at the front of it, though.
Yeah, definitely. He's doing a great job for a guy that thinks that Monza is his bogey track. Legitimate P4. Hang in there, D-Flow. You're doing a good job,
No
buddy.
pit stops as of yet. We're coming up the 26-minute mark. Are we expecting to see a pit stop right on 20 minutes?
I don't think we will. We might see 1 or 2 guys try to stretch it out, such as D-Flow, but in regards to the likes of Scooter and Morgan, who are really working their cars very hard, we might see them come in a little bit earlier. They may have to run a very long stint towards the end if they're going to try the 1 stop, but 2 stop, very tricky to sort of manage.
Would you say most of these guys are going to make it to 20 minutes on fuel?
At this stage, I do believe so. Just looking at the fuel as Morgan goes up the inside of the red affilio, and it's too deep. And Scooter, there's contact.
That's big.
Oh,
that'll be looked at a bit later.
I
think it looks like Morgan might actually be letting off, but he's let DJ Brain through. But Scooter is a long way back.
DJ's gotten past.
It's going to be a hard pass to redress if he does feel that he was at fault. But I think in the circumstances, that's where you take a penalty over a redress, because it's just too much self-infliction there to drop back that far.
Yeah, that was a big dive though, very big dive, and he just understeered straight into the red affilio, and Scooter tried to fight back on the outside, but just a bit of contact. That's why we have pre-season races as well, just to make sure we iron out the kinks. Everyone just gets into the rhythm before the start of the season.
Yeah, of course, no stakes involved in this race, just bragging rights on the line for these guys. So the Deeds car now in P2 following DJ Brain, and it looks like he is pulling over and hanging about. So definitely an accidental contact there as he hands the position back to Scooter. So great sportsmanship from these guys. Awesome to see that.
Oh, DJ just on the parabolica on the corner exit, just sideways. Great car control on the exit there.
So he's now got himself a 5-second lead to Scooter behind. And DJ's tyres, you said, were looking pretty good, did you?
Yeah, he's just used half the rears at the moment. He's got about a third of a tank of fuel. Scooter's heading just over a quarter of a tank, and then Morgan, he's got even more fuel than the both of them, but his tyres are just, yeah, they're nowhere near as good on the rear. Keeping an eye on Deflu, who is slowly starting to catch up and make hay while the sun shines. That gap has dropped. It was about 3.5 seconds half a lap go. Now it's 2.4.
Yeah, so a great opportunity for him with that incident between Morgan and Scooter as well. Of course, that would have handed him a lot of time as well. But I can he's within visual distance now, so he's got that carrot dangling in front of him. So that might be that extra little bit of motivation he needs to catch these two guys.
He's also got much better tyres and fuel than the guys in front of him. He's actually making quite a bit of time out of this. We could see him pit and still make quite the gain. The fuel advantage he's got at the moment is quite substantial.
Speedy's coming with him too. He's all over the back of him through a Ascari. A little bit of a moment on exit though, but it's not going to cause him too much distress because he's got plenty of time to catch D-Flow again. That slipstream, of course, we know it extends back to around the 2-second mark. So, being within a second, he's got plenty of tow pulling him along.
Oh, he's just oversteered a little bit just coming out of the Parabolica as well. Jeez, these cars, they look absolutely wonderful with these liveries, but watching them exit the corners with such little grip, and these guys are some of the very best in Australia in Gran Turismo Sim Racing. Epic car control. Great fun to watch.
You can tell there's a lot of tyre wear creeping in on the rears for these guys as well. You saw with D-Flow there coming out of the Parabolica, trying to get on the power, and the rear just wants to step out, even in third, fourth gear.
Morgan's looking up the inside of Scooter, coming into Rogier, gets it done. Scooter's want to have a conversation about this though.
A good move, decent block pass from D-Flow's going to go for a move around the outside even here. He's going to make it stick
he's got
too.
Good grip though. Can he do it?
Wow. Is he going to get alongside Morgan here too? He's gone a little bit wide and he's lost out to Scooter.
No. But out of all these guys, he's got fantastic grip compared to every single one of them.
Scooter's going to go for it again
Really
as they come up
looked
to
after that car.
Ascari. Look at that toe speed from D-Flow. So much overspeed, and that's going to allow Morgan to hold it into Ascari as well. Scooter tried to give him a little bit to think about, but couldn't quite make it happen. But we've now got a 5-man pack.
And this has brought Black Project in.
Yep.
Black Project's into it, and he's gone past Speedy. He's also going past D-Flow, and he's got the big slipstream behind
Scooter's
Morgan.
going for it on Morgan as well. He's gone all the way past before they even enter the braking zone there. So as they come through the Parabolica for the 12th time, coming across the line to start lap number 13. We're nearly halfway through the race. We might see some pit stops now, but it looks like everybody hanging out for the moment. They're most likely going to come across the start-finish line right on the 20-minute mark here. So Scooter under attack from Morgan Davey once again. Hard on the brakes for Morgan Davey into the first chicane. Gets it stopped. Great move. Great racing room from both of the drivers. They're nice and clean.
Oh, I tell you what, Scooter's really suffering at the moment. That left rear tyre is as bald as me at my about when I'm going to hit 40 years old. It's just, really suffering at the moment.
Look at the overspeed he had there all the way around. All the way around the outside before they even got to the braking zone again. So I think we might be seeing a little bit of fuel saving here from Morgan Davey because he's really not got quite as much top speed as they come into the braking zones.
Oh, Wakey's actually joined this battle pack now, so there's 6 cars in this fight for P2. What a battle.
DJ Brain will be laughing his head off though. Look at him, he's 5.6 seconds to the good over these guys, and he's yet to make his first pit stop.
Yeah, he's hovering around the low 32s for race pace. Tyres look good. Just under a quarter of a tank for fuel. So he's a little bit less than the likes of Morgan and D-Flow, but he's got fantastic tyres underneath
Well,
him.
D-Flow, like you were saying before, with his tyres and fuel, he's looking very good, and he's going for a move on Morgan for P2 here as well. Up the inside as they head into the Parabolica. They're side by side all the way through. Morgan goes around the outside. That's well held
in
by Morgan. These guys are going to go around again. Well, safe for a couple of them. Scooter's in, Black Project's in, Wakey's in.
D-Flow's gone around again, Morgan's gone around again, Speedy's gone around again. Oh, D-Flow thought about it.
So no moves being made into the first chicane. I think these guys know this lap needs to be quick if they want to be in the conversation as they come out of their pit stop. Because they'll be pitting at the end of this lap. And going for an overcut, which doesn't tend to work on this game. And in these cars, of course, the fresher tyres prove to be very handy for most of these guys. But if anyone here is, in excess on fuel coming into the second stint, they might have a much faster pit stop.
So DJ's just come out of the pit bay there. He has got about just over 3/4 of a tank. Looking very, very good. But old Wakey as well. He's just jumped Scooter and Black Project in the pits.
Oh, wow.
So Wakey's been doing a little bit of fuel saving here.
So he was in the battle
up the
pack.
inside.
Oh, he's gone for it. He's a bit deep, though.
Oh, he's gone deep.
That's very deep.
Oh.
The Black Project's had a moment there, too.
Black Project. Yeah, just understeered just into the second half of Rogier there and just had to catch it.
He had to pull the car right up
Jimmy
there.
Superfly's caught.
Wow.
Oh, Jimmy Super... Oh, wow. I tell you, V8's starting to slowly catch back up now. He's in 10th. He had that very big moment out of the exit of Ascari, but since then he's got the fastest lap of the race with a 29.3. He's also, I reckon, been doing a little bit of fuel saving as well because his tyres look absolutely fantastic. And he's still got just under 1/4 of a tank compared to everybody else as D-Flow, Speedy and Morgan come in. D-Flow with the fuel advantage.
They got a lot of fuel on board compared to the guys that came in before, I think. Looks like they might have actually saved them. V8's got Scotty for company
really
too, yeah.
After that car.
Has he boxed
So
already?
who's coming out? There's cars moving. V8 or Scooter? V8? No, he has not. He'll have to come in the next lap. D-Flow's come out in front of Speedy and Morgan, so Morgan's the big loser out of all of that.
Okay.
Speedy's actually short-filled though, and D-Flow. Whereas Morgan put in more than 3/4 of a tank. D-Flow and Speedy have got 3/4
So
of a tank.
Morgan's given himself a car to fight with.
Exactly right, so he's got more to push with, but how much of that tyre is he going to use up as a result? We know D-Flow and Speedy can really look after their cars and stretch them. Especially that first stint. What a fantastic first stint by
Yeah,
D-Flow.
D-Flow did a great job, and you could really tell that he had the car underneath him as well with that tyre saving. He was just a lot more stable through the early stages. We've got a couple of queries about Diego. He is still here, down in P13. Quick battle with V8. I think he'll give him a bit of a run for his money, I think. So V8's just come out of the pits, has he?
Yeah, he has. He's got half a tank, fresh new boots. Diego's also just pitted a couple of laps earlier. Diego actually, I think, has taken on a full tank of fuel because he's sitting at 1/4 at the moment. He's been out for a couple of laps now. Tyres look very, very good, but gee whiz, that livery. That looks absolutely spectacular. That green beacon, red mist McLaren-esque Golf livery.
It looks like it belongs on the real thing, honestly.
Does.
Replace the Golf livery and the Golf colours. Green beacons in town, guys.
That being said, though, every single car on this grid, these livery lords have done an incredible job of oh wow, I can't wait to see what the Season 4 liveries look like as well. Few teams have already revealed them for the upcoming season. We've seen the likes of CP and planning to reveal their liveries. We've seen CJ Esports also bring theirs out in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolute wizards, the Sector 1 livery boys. Never fail to impress.
Oh, the battle for P3's on as well. It closed right up. Morgan's just getting a bit of a sniff of Speedy's corner punch, counterstone, whatever you want to call it, next level racing F1500.
He's still holding on to the rear of D-Flow here as well. They've got a big gap to Shansky and DJ up front. Has Shansky pitted?
Just looking at, and no, he hasn't. Not at the moment.
Interesting.
Where he's taken the he's taken the 2 stops. So he pitted at lap 9. Still got 1/4 of a tank. He's going to have to pit again, but he's going to have by far the freshest car on the grid towards the end of the race. So he might come in the next couple of laps and just run to the end and might take a couple of spots towards the end of the race here. He's looking good.
So you're probably going to see him pit around lap 18 then if he pitted lap 9 for his first stop. So that essentially makes D-Flow net P2 as it stands with a 4.3 second gap to surmount to DJ out the front. So DJ's sitting pretty up there in P1. Question is, can these guys down in P3, 4 and 5 work together enough to catch him? It's going to be a hard ask, I think.
Well, just watching with Shansky P2, yes, he's out of the loop a little bit in terms of strategy, but he's actually hanging on to the rear of DJ here, so DJ may have the fresher car, but this is really going to work for Shansky if he just sits behind for a little bit. Of course, with the slipstream, less downforce, of course. Cars can go a little bit quicker in the straight line as Speedy has a big moment and D-Flow's got a penalty in P3. Just served it, got it out of the way. Morgan's actually gone up the inside of Speedy as a result. So Speedy just very, very loose on the exit of Rogier there, and Morgan's just made it count.
Well, I think D-Flow's very lucky that he got rid of that before this straight, because that's usually the penalty burning zone, and it can be very, very damaging to your race if you have to serve it there. Morgan up the inside into Ascari. D-Flow's going to try stick it on the rear bumper.
Oh, Speedy's also looking for this as well. What a battle.
The nose to tail as they come down towards the Parabolica. D-Flow looks to the outside, backs off early, so still probably taking into consideration his tyres here.
Tell you from experience, D-Flow is a fighter here. He will not yield. He will want every single position, and battling him at Monza it's scary, let's just say that.
He's going to have a go here at Morgan, or is he? It looks like he's gone for a little push there. A little bit of teamwork going on here between Deeds and Counterstone? Corner punch. The chill out car.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell which one. Oh, Black Project's made a move up the inside of Wakey. Second battle pack forming between Scooter, Black Project and Wakey here. They're just a little bit behind these guys, but by no means slower. They're actually starting to make a little bit of time onto the front three there. So keep an eye on these guys later in the race. They will start to slowly come back. Scooter's looking good as well.
I have a question. What happened to Scooter?
I'm not too sure. Just looking at his lap times, he had a very slow outlap of 34.3 compared to the likes of D-Flow, who had a 32.0, for example. So he's lost out somewhere just on the exit of the pit. So he may have just had someone beside him when he's come into the Retafilio on the exit of the pit.
I think you mentioned that actually. Someone jumped him on the pit exit and might have held him up for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a very tricky little pit exit here at Monza. There's a few tracks that are like this as well, where you merge basically onto the racing line on the brake, and it's, yeah, you just got to be so aware that you don't make contact. It's so easy to lose countless seconds at the Retafilio. It's a very tricky corner.
Shansky's in for his pit stop, so he exits the top 5. DJ Brain now with a 2.7 second gap. That has come down a lot between himself and Morgan Davey over the last couple of laps. So he's going to be starting to get that little bit of fear creeping in as the guys behind creep through. We've actually got a penalty there for DJ as well. He's copped that at the first chicane for a little bit of a corner cut.
Shansky's just come out. He's come out in P9. Just under, he's just over 2/3 of a tank, but 6 seconds just in behind Scotty as he's just gone over the blend line there.
Yeah.
Bit of a naughty.
That, yeah.
But he, he's going to have the freshest car by a country mile. He's got less fuel, fresh
we've had a moment. DJ Brains lost out on the exit of the first Lesno. He's gone wide again there in the background. So
so he's had the penalty.
His entire lead
and he's
has gone
off
to nothing. Yep. He had a big lose at the first Lesmo and also went wide at the second one, but he was facing the wrong way, and that just allowed the other battle pack through. So the battle now, D-Flow and Morgan are actually pulling away from Speedy here a lot.
Yeah. Seems like Speedy's just lost that little bit of a slipstream. So was there a moment at Rogier between DJ and Speedy beforehand, and that's where the penalties come, or
is Speedy looking a bit short on fuel?
Compared to D-Flow and Morgan, no. So he's got the same amount of fuel, under half a tank compared to D-Flow, whereas Morgan has actually got more fuel. So Morgan's still over half a tank. D-Flow can just sit behind, manage the car, save a little bit of fuel, save the tyres, and push for a big stint towards the end.
Yeah.
Going to see another Deets versus LLRC or RCLL or RCLL. LBC, whatever they're called these days.
Well, Morgan's looking really good, and it sounds like he's got the best car of the bunch here, so realistically I think this is his race to lose right now. And D-Flow is starting to bleed a little bit of time. He lost a lot on the exit of the first chicane, and it looks like he's having a bit of trouble trying to stick with Morgan here.
And because of DJ's little incident before, he's actually fallen back into the clutches of Scoot a little bit, who is now within slipstream range. Black Project and Old Wakey both with him at the moment.
Okay, so decent battle pack forming here between 4th and 7th, thereabouts. Oh, we've had a bit of a lag moment.
Oh no, V8's gone.
Oh,
wow.
V8, no. The troubles continue for V8. Where was he at the point of disconnect?
Just at the back end of the top 10 there. So, yeah, it seems like the engine's just let go. The turbos have let fly. Porsche Power's not really looking good at this stage. Of course, each chassis has their engine provided by their supplier. Unfortunately, Lexus don't make the twin turbo V6 motors, so Toyota have stepped in for deeds. But it's Porsche Power up at the front versus the Toyota Power. So with Ragged Edge, of course, being in the Porsche Cayman next season, and RCLL also being in the car as well. That's a bit of warning signs there for D-Flow. That'll be in the back of his mind a little bit that the Porsche engine's let go. So can it hold on?
Yeah.
As he looks at Rogier,
he's pushing Morgan.
He tries.
Giving a lot of pressure there. Just noticed as well, a 28.499 for Jimmy Superfly, fastest lap at the moment. What was the fastest qualifying time again?
29.2 from Scooter, I believe.
Wow. So I think that might be partially down to the big drop in fuel that we've of course seen.
Oh, DJ! Oh,
we've got another battle on here.
Just went wide.
P1 and 2 exchanging positions at Ascari. We'll have a look back at DJ. So DJ's currently between Scooter and Black Project. And what happened to him?
He just went wide at the exit of the second Lesmo there, which just checked up Black Project and Wakey a bit. And, this is on for sheep stations. This is on for young and old.
Yeah.
Last beer in the slab of deeds, as I like to say.
Yep.
Wow. That battle pack's really becoming an angry little hot pocket to watch.
Yeah, it's not the first time he's made a mistake at the Lesmos this race for DJ Brain, so a bit unfortunate that it's all falling to pieces a little bit at that particular section of the track, but he's not in an awful position now. P5, following Scooter, who was, of course, our pole sitter, so not the worst person to be behind. Can they gain?
It's good for his It'll be good for his confidence though, because he's had, despite the couple of little offs, DJ's pace has been absolutely beautiful. He's been in the low 1 minute 30s. He's really shown really good consistency, really good pace, and he's looked after the car quite a bit too. So, despite it being pre-season, it's a lot of good signs for a fair few of these guys. There will be laughs and beers at the end of the night, but at this stage, a lot to take out for these guys to just muddle with before the season start. Yeah,
a good way to measure yourself against a lot of the competition that you'll be coming up against in the upcoming season. A lot of these guys, I think the entire top four are Group A drivers for the championship. And a couple of these other guys further down will also be racing each other, so it's going to be a good gauge for these guys to decide whether they're on pace or not. And I think DJ Brain, a lot of positives to take. Speedy Tyres, slow there. He's now down to fourth place.
He's had a
I think he's had an issue at the exit of Ascari. Either that, or he's covering his, his fuel or something.
So he ended up going onto the AstroTurf on the exit of Ascari, and just like Scotty before, just slammed the inside wall, unfortunately.
Oh, that can be painful. He lost all his exit speed and had nothing down the straight, and that allowed DJ and Scooter to find their way through. Scooter now sitting in a podium position after qualifying on pole. He's currently got 2.5 seconds to Morgan, who seems to have had a poor exit out of that.
Yeah, Morgan's had a moment.
So the time is coming down, and D-Flow is 3 seconds clear. How has that happened?
So in regards to this one, Morgan had a very big moment. It looks like the car's been too low, and it's hit the curb of the Rettifilio, and it's just spun the rear around. That's a really unusual one.
That's a big moment, and that gap continues to come down for Scooter. How's his car looking in comparison to Morgan? Because there's a big pack from 3rd to about 6th place that's hunting him down.
So in regards to Scooter's tyres, he's used up the front a bit more, but he's got a lot more rear. He's on a 1/4 of a tank of fuel. Morgan's still, of course, got a little bit more fuel, and he's got better front tyres, but the gap is closing, and the big thing is DJ and Speedy are coming with as Speedy's right.
Not the first time we've seen someone get squirrely at the exit of Ascari there, so coming to bite everyone, that AstroTurf for the rear tyres, and that won't have done his wear any favours as well. But he's still in touch with DJ.
Of course, Scooter's got a fantastic record of finishing in 8th position in the last season. So he's on track to break that tonight.
Yeah, he was beating himself up about it a lot as well. So he's got very high aspirations. DJ goes into the back of him there, carrying a lot more speed through that first chicane.
Oh.
But yeah, Scooter, he holds himself to a very, very high standard. So a podium, he'll be satisfied with a podium, but I'm sure he would have wanted that that top spot, especially after qualifying so well. So he's had a good race so far and a good recovery after an earlier issue that pushed him down into about 8th place. Currently sitting in a podium spot. The gap to Morgan is still coming down, so there is more to salvage from this race for Scooter. 3.5 minutes left. We're probably going to see 2 more laps after this one.
Oh, this is going to be an angry little battle pack.
Speedy's gone off
Speedy's
again.
off. Speedy. Oh.
Speedy at the moment, he's just pushing too
like
hard at the exit of Lesno.
Yeah, I was just about to say that he's just pushing it a little bit harder than the other guys at the moment. His tyres still look really good though. Can DJ pass Scooter though? That's the big question here. DJ's got a lot of pace behind him. In terms of tyres, he's got better tyres as well, better on fuel, so he can attack a bit harder.
DJ's got a great opportunity here to look after the car for... Well, he's had a good opportunity rather. Whoa, he's had a moment again. Exit of Parabolica.
Oh.
Not for the first time as well. We saw him do that earlier in the race as well. But he's still in touch with Scooter in front. But it's go time now.
That rear end at the exit.
We're going to see 2, maybe 3 laps more for these guys, depending on how quick they get around. Because it was about the 3-minute mark when they crossed the line. If they can smash out a 1:30 for the next 2
D-Flow's
laps.
had a moment. D-Flow's had a moment. Morgan's gone
Morgan's
past.
by again. So they've chopped and changed once again. But they're, this time, right on top of one another. So D-Flow had... a 3.5 second lead there, so that's got to be something big that's happened there at the first chicane.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay that I got here, courtesy of Casio. Thank you very much. It just doesn't look like anything weird happened. He just got a very, very poor exit out of the Retafilio there, and Morgan just had a fantastic run.
Not a fuel
Very
issue.
weird.
Not a fuel issue for that car. He's not looking too poor on that side of things. Okay.
No, out of all the top 5, Scooter's the one that's just hit the light, and DJ's just hit it as we've gone past. So, entering Ascari.
Okay.
Very
So
interesting.
the gap between D-Flow and Scooter is now still hovering about 2.5 seconds. So Scooter's going to have a little bit of trouble catching these guys within the time remaining. 1:40 on the clock. If they cross the line with about 1:30 to go, they might even get 2 more laps in. But I think most of these guys aren't quite going to get there. 32, 31, 30. Okay, so I think we are on the last lap, people. Here at Monza.
Oh,
D-Flow's, he's got to go for it. He can't wait around anymore. They enter the first chicane.
Oh, he's hung.
DJ's side by side with Scooter, but he's not quite going to give it a shot. So the positions remain the same. DJ's had a moment.
Oh,
DJ's gone.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Too early on the throttle.
Just gassed
Lost
it
the
a
back
little
end.
bit early.
Speedy's going to come through, and that's going to drop him down to P5. He was P4, of course, which would have been a fantastic result from him. P5, obviously, still a great result for DJ, but that P4 was in the bag there, wasn't it?
These top 2 are fighting so much that Scooter is really closed in. D-Flow's hungrier than an 18-year-old tradie chasing a palmy, and Scooter just behind.
And we look back from Morgan.
D-Flow.
He's going to be going very defensive as they come up to Ascari. D-Flow's still going to look up the inside either way.
2 wheels.
He's going to go for it. Who's later on the brakes? Who's got the better tyres? Morgan's going to hold it around the outside as they go in. D-Flow with a switchback, but not quite able to make it happen. Is he on the AstroTurf? Is he going to slide it out? He's into the grass. Morgan's clear. And Scooter might even go through. Scooter's through. Scooter takes P2 away from D-Flow, and that's clear home and dry. Morgan comes around the Parabolica to take P1. Scooter in P2, D-Flow in P3. Barring mistake, these guys will stay as they are. Wow, what a race from those guys.
Battle.
Speedy comes home P4. DJ in P5, fantastic race from him. Even with all the issues that he did have, a couple of sideways moments, and I think he was into the wall at one point. Still finished P5.
Scotty just
Scotty's
lost
lost
it.
it, no.
Chasing Black Project.
Black Project in P7. Scotty's going to lose out to Shansky. He's lost it again. He's going to hold P9 though.
That was like was it Oscar Piastri last season, just in the Formula 3s, just went right off of the parabolica there.
Debrev still on track.
Scary.
P10, followed by Jimmy and Diego. Jimmy's having a bit of a laugh, weaving down the back straight.
Based on the mid-80s Renault, that livery, absolutely beautiful job.
Oh, he's looking at his sideways to the
sideways.
parabolica. I think that was deliberate. That was very cool. Diego as well.
Putting on a show for us.
Why not? Absolutely, why not? As he comes through
So
the
we get to look
parabolica.
at Diego and that.
Oh, what a livery.
That beautiful livery. I'm gonna need tissues.
Just cruises around the final corner and across the line. What a great race.
What a race.
Fantastic stuff from the guys. Morgan P1, Scooter in P2, and as the guys in chat were saying, breaking his streak of 8s. He'll be happy with that, I'm sure. It was a good result and a result he needed. And of course, all the rest of the guys, a fantastic drive as well. Unfortunate for V8 to find himself out of the standings there.
Yeah, and also unfortunate for VF as well, who for some weird reason was not on the grid. At the race start, he was in the actual race grid because it was entered, and then as the race started, I'm not sure what's happened there. So whether or not the Casio keyboards have broken down here or the Tizzo watches have gone, I suppose that's why F1's upgraded to Rolex now. So. Wow, what a race. Driver of the day, or as I call it for the pre-seasons, the Try Hard of the Night award.
Well,
let's fire him in chat.
I think, as much as you don't really ever want to give an award like this to the guy who wins, because he's already won enough, Morgan Davey from last place on the grid to P1, and quite convincingly as well, I think that's more than deserving. DJ Brain as well. He's definitely a candidate for me as well there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give mine to Scooter tonight. He really gelled in well with that front battle pack, racing the guys that in some of the very best. He more than held his own. That'll be a massive confidence gainer for him. And gee whiz, he really did well in that pole lap. Set it first flyer as well. So
yeah,
what a night.
He was he was untouchable in quality, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that was just overall, these guys, pat on the back, great racing, great car control, especially with the fact that you got 986 horsepower behind them. Of course, our engine's made by the providers of the cars they'll be racing for the upcoming season. What a night.
Great stuff from the guys.
TCM.
So,
TCM and this. Wow.
Yeah, it was really good. Message from VF, pressed the wrong button just as the race started, so done a bit of a Lewis Hamilton there, locked off the brakes and gone deep into T1 at the restart there for him, I think.
Yeah, needed to turn off that magic button, as they say.
Scooter for driver of the day there from Crazy. And I think I was saying DJ. I think I'm going to go with DJ for my own. But great stuff all round. Thank you very much for your help in the box, mate. You did a great job. Very informative. Helped me through a lot of it.
Yeah, tried my best with the Casio screens that I've got here. Unfortunately, these are dated from 1979, so it's not the best quality. Nor is it the best picture, I must say. So I'm looking forward to next time jumping into the box, having these brand new ultra widescreen 8K HD, whatever you might call it, that have been provided to us by our beautiful sponsors, Next Level Racing, Auto One, of course, and Aussie Hampton.
Of course, and as we line up again for next week's pre-season test races, first race next week, muscle cars again at Bathurst, if I remember correctly. So that'll be one to watch for sure. The guys are going to definitely enjoy that. And where do we go for race 2?
I do believe at race 2, just double checking at the moment, I think, I thought it was at Suzuka, but just going through this parchment here, just trying to have a quick look because unfortunately that's what happens.
1986 parchment, good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, who's organised it? There's splotches and blotches and everything through these books. So
Blue Moon Infield. Message from the good doc.
ooh,
The next thing
I might have to step in for that one and have a bit of a run. These cars, oh wow, so much fun to drive, and yeah, Blue Moon Infield, that'll be fantastic, especially with a slipstream as well. The infield, of course, is a very tough track. It may seem simple on the track map, but it's definitely anything but.
Yeah, good
And
section.
especially with and especially that front straight as well, with the slipstream these guys are getting with these amazing cars, is just going to be next level epic. There's going to be some big moves made. That being said as well, the T first, well, that's gonna be incredible to watch. That's gonna be great fun. The guys just tiptoeing it around the top of the mountain there, and absolutely blazing by down Conrod Straight.
Definitely.
It's gonna be.
It wouldn't be an Aussie New Zealand
Wow.
racing series if we didn't include Bathurst, so it's more than obligatory, I think. So
Yeah.
I'd like to say thank you to everyone who tuned in to the Sector 1 stream tonight for our 2 pre-season test races. If you are new here, please make sure you do subscribe and drop a like if you did enjoy the content for the evening. I know I certainly did. And we will be back next Sunday. Same time, same place, different tracks, same cars though, as we were just discussing. So thank you very much for joining me, Brent, in the box. It's been great having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry, good doc, I've sort of ruined this groove in this chair.
Well, I'm sure he'll iron it back out at some point. Alrighty, guys.
So.
Thank you all very much, and we will see you next week for more fantastic racing. Goodbye.